Officers found Detective Joseph Calabrese dead in his car. He was a husband and a father. He'd been with the NYPD for 37 years. Joining me now, psychologist Terry Lyles, author of Caught in the Crossfire, Achieving Emotional Recovery and Stress Relief After Gun Violence. I mean, that's the whole point here. These are guys that see the worst of the worst. How do you overcome some of the PTSD that comes along with the job?
Yeah, Lance, great to be back with you again. This is always a hard conversation to have. I mean, these two veteran individuals that gave their lives protecting the public, and that something like this happens. And, you know, there's not always answers at first. In most cases, they're not, and there may not be answers for a while. And that's the first part of recovery, is just to start the process of recovering. And it's like the chief just said, you know, you need to be processing this. The individuals that survive this, they need help. They need to be talking it through with professionals. That's part of why we wrote this book. That's a free giveaway, actually, because it helps after gun violence. How do you achieve emotional regulation after something like that happens? And it's not easy to do, but it is a process, and you got to go through the process correctly.
Yeah, and more of what the commissioner said, it really seems like he is making a point to talk about how important it is to seek help. We cannot hide from this incredibly important discussion. We must not pretend that these things don't happen or that such tragic deaths are somehow a fact of life. Importantly, we cannot sit idly by and just pray that they won't happen again. We have to take action now and discuss mental health. I mean, these are tough guys. These are guys that are the heroes. They think that they have to be strong and may perceive getting help as being weak. How do you overcome that?
Well, you know, I see this a lot with military personnel coming back from a theater of war, as well as police officers and others that are putting their lives at risk. And you mentioned something, that they're tough individuals. They are. But toughness breaks. Something that's tough becomes rigid if it's not processed, and can break. So there needs to be elasticity, which means we need to become vulnerable as leaders, especially that are charging into danger, to know that you can do it in such a way, but you need to prepare for that. And I think we have to really up our game on preparing first responders on how to do the emotional conditioning. So when the recovery process does happen, it's built into their nervous system and into their psyche. And there's a way to do that. There's a way to relieve that pressure and process it so it doesn't build up and then explode like we see in these two individuals' places. So the process is, you know, you have to process it, obviously. You've got to get help. You've got to share that, and then you'll eventually heal. And the whole game is people that have to survive these kind of losses will have questions the rest of their lives. Those questions may not be answered, as I said at the top of the show, but what we need to know is, are they getting the help they need? Can they process, let go, and learn from that and grow from it? Because they still have other family members that they need to live with. And that's why Caught in the Crossfire was such a pivotal piece that we use as a giveaway. And they can get that right off my website at just terrylyles.com, TerryLyles.com. It is a free download.
Yeah, because getting those things out there, talking about mental health is so important. We're talking about it in the context of police officers, but this is sadly happening, the trauma, I mean, in our American classrooms. It's happening at our concerts, in our churches, and it is not just these officers that are experiencing it and need the help when it comes to mental health. Terry Lyles, thank you very much for being here.